Okay. So, oh my Lanta, I think I was just doing a little bit too much because, of course, I wanted to start earlier. But yeah, that did not happen. Okay. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all the love that I got on my first live video. It was a whole bunch of fun. So just like last time, I have a bunch of screens working. So if you're able to join, that is wonderful. And if not, when you do see the video, I hope that you enjoy it. So I am celebrating almost being 1 year locked, and I think today is like the 10th. So I have 2 more days or 3 more days left. I think my real date is September 13th before I am 1 year locked. Hi, Sister Francis. Hey, Shima. Was waiting for you last time, so I'm so happy you're able to make it this time. And as part of my Loc anniversary, I just wanted to do a couple of lives, a couple of videos, and explain a couple of things. So today I'm explaining why I chose Microlocs over traditional locks. Now, like I keep saying, I really want to get into like a video where I just talk about all the myths about locks and just how it has such a negative connotation about them, which is terrible. But so hopefully I'll get into that. So as far as thinking one is prettier, I honestly think both are beautiful. Like, I think they're both beautiful. Whether they're larger or smaller, I think both are just beautiful. I like them both. Hi, Mom. Thank you for joining. So I think they're both beautiful. So that was not the case for me at all. I really like both of them. So there's a few reasons why I went with the Microlocs. So my biggest reason, and I was playing with this, so hopefully I know how to do this. My biggest reason is that I'm a hairstylist at heart. So I always do these great styles, and I'm like, this is so foolproof. I'm gonna like do this all the time and never ever change it. Okay, it never works out. It can be foolproof, but I get bored, I guess, and then I'm like, nope, new hairstyle, gotta change it. Or I'm also very particular, so like I notice if little things are off about it, and if it doesn't turn out the same exact way all the time, I think sometimes then I change it too. So with that being said, I have a couple of pictures for you. So my most favorite hairstyle when I was natural is this style. Just having like a curly fro with like bangs in the front and it just being curly all over. This is my most favorite hairstyle, this one here. And my other favorite hairstyle, now I'm not sure if I can make that small, is this one where I have like a lot of curls in the front. That is my other favorite hairstyle, and these are both second and third to the bun because I love a good bun. So these are my styles. Let's see if I can get this back off. Yes. So what I wanted was, I wanted that even though I was locked, I wanted to be able to duplicate those two styles for sure. So I figured Microlocs would be the best way for me to not get as bored and for me to be able to duplicate those two styles. So stay tuned because hopefully, I do look like Nasia in some of those pictures. Hopefully, I will do a video where I actually do my curly fro, and I want to kind of do it with my Microlocs, of course. So hopefully you'll get a video soon with that, and it'll be kind of like the curl formers, except I won't stretch the curls. I'll kind of let them stay bunched up and curly. But those are my two favorite hairstyles that I loved being a loose natural, and I wanted to make sure that even though I was locked, I could still do those two styles for sure. So that was one of the biggest reasons of me getting the smaller locks. Now, that is not to say that larger locks are not versatile, because they are. There are plenty of people with larger locks who still do braid outs, and they still do twist outs, they do roller sets. You can still do all of those styles, but again, I'm very particular. So sometimes I might want a middle part, or sometimes I might want a side part or a deep side part. So that is another reason too, is that I really love the parting of Microlocs because I feel like it's kind of close to your loose hair, to where you can change your part, change your direction of how you want the locks to look. Or if I want it to be heavy on one side, I felt like I just had a little bit more wiggle room to kind of play with it and to change my style. So that was the second reason. Being able to do my curly fro and the curls in the front, and then being able to change my parts as much as possible and just not get bored with my style. And sometimes I still do get nervous, like, girl, you better not get bored and talk about you're gonna take them down. But I don't think I will, because they are smaller. So I think I just have a little bit more room with that. The other reason why is because you do hear that people with larger locks, and maybe some of the people with medium, but not all, because I have asked some with medium locks, they will sometimes say that their locks are heavy. Now, I have extremely curly hair. Hey, Esther, so good to see you. I have extremely curly hair, and my strands are also fine too. So I have extremely curly hair and I have fine strands. So I felt like if I would allow locks to be on it that got a little too heavy, I felt like my hair might not have taken to that as well as it does the smaller locks. So I didn't want my hair to get too small. Hey Esther, it's good to see Esther. She's always so encouraging, so I like getting like little texts and messages from her. She's definitely super encouraging, so it's good to see you on. So yeah, I thought that the larger locks for my hair type, being super curly, and also for it being super fine, I thought the larger locks, my scalp would not maybe be able to handle that. So that's also a reason why I went with the smaller ones. Now, there were a couple of people I watched, and I think her name is Tykara. Of course, I watched her because she's another one who's kind of like paving the way for Microlocs. But there are some people whose Microlocs are super, super small. And in one of my videos, I was like, oh, I could have went smaller. But I did not want them that small. I didn't want to be overwhelmed when I went to retie them, because I knew I was going to retie on my own. And I didn't want it to look like natural hair either. Like sometimes my hair will still look like it's like a wash and go. But for the most part, most times you still can tell that, no, something is going on there. So I wanted it to be a solid look like it's locked, but still be able to have a lot of versatility and still be able to hold the curl. And I've been loving how the more moisture is in the air, the more the bottom of my hair will curl up. So I like that look as well. So I didn't want them too small. I kind of didn't want them medium, but I wanted them like small but not tiny, 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 tiny. So that's one of the reasons why I went with the size that I went with too. I wanted to look like locks but not be too small. And let me see, is there any other reason why? I don't think so. I think those are my biggest reasons, that I wanted to be able to change my style as much as possible, that I wasn't sure if my scalp could really handle if they were a little bit larger and it got heavy, like when it gets wet and things like that. Yeah, and I had to be able to duplicate my curly fro. Like I could not give that up, not being able to do it. And usually I keep my hair kind of straight for the most part, and that's just because it's never been that way. It never stays that way. Even if I like blow dry it or something, it always reverts because my hair is really curly and it wants to be really curly. So I usually keep it straight, but I do think that in the future I'll go back to like some of the things that you do when you're loose natural, like bantu knots or twist out, those type of things. I would love to see how those look on my hair. But yes, that is all I have for you today. I'm hoping to do either right after this or later, hoping to do like a updated look, a close-up look at my locks, and try to think about if anything has really changed about my locks and kind of fill you in on there. So before I go, do you have any questions? I know there's like a delay, but if you have any questions, now is your chance to ask any questions that you might have. Yeah, I agree with you. Shay's the same. Hi, Sister Debbie. It's so nice to see you too. All these lovely people that are so supporting. I love it. But yes, Shima, honestly, I think Microlocs go with your personality too, because there is a one YouTuber that I watch, and I don't watch her that much, so I don't really know her name, but she has microlocks, but her sister has regular traditional locks, and they kind of, I think, locked around the same time. But you can tell how the microlocks fit the one sister, and then the other sister who has traditional locks, you can see how it fits her. And one of the things she was saying was the maintenance. Like, I love doing hair. So for me to sit for hours and retie, like, I'm all for it. Let's do it. And not only that, but obviously doing the retie, it feels like I'm sewing. So I think that's exciting too, to be able to just do the movement and feel like I'm sewing. But that's not for everybody. Like, you really have to know that, one, it's going to take you a while to do your reties, and two, are you up for it? Like, are you up for having that many locks, maintaining them? I do think there are some troubleshooting that you have to do for smaller locks that you don't have to do with the larger locks. So that is definitely an issue as well. Right, Esther. Some people find it relaxing. And I still have been filming it. Like, I still will put a camera up to see the back of my head to make sure my parts are straight. I honestly don't think I will be doing that much going forward. I think I will start just filling my way out, because I'm pretty good at filling things. And if you watch my retie videos, I pin everything out the way anyway. So I think I will be fine to kind of do it without looking. And once I'm able to do that, then yep, it's definitely just going to be relaxing. I'm going to put on a movie, and then I'm just going to do my hair for a few hours. I get caught up on TV shows because I don't get to watch TV that much, so I can binge watch a whole TV show and just get in all the seasons or all the episodes. Or I love movies that are trilogies, like I love Avengers. I think that's what I watched last time, was all the Avenger movies up to the end. So I like to do that too while I'm watching it, while I'm doing my hair. So yeah, if I could do it for hours and not have to look at the back of my head, I think that would be super cool as well. Let me see. No, mama. No. Okay, so my mom asked, did I think that my hair would take well to the Microlocs? See, I would have been nervous doing the traditional locks, but the Microlocs, honestly, like I said yesterday, it was like going natural all over again. And that's a whole nother story. When it was time for us to go natural, it was just like, you just had this feeling like, I gotta do it. Like, I have to do it. So with the Microlocs, that is the same feeling I had. Like, no, I gotta do it. And at the time, my hair has been kind of steady at like bra strap length, and that's like 13 inches, give or take, for me. But of course, like, throughout the years, you have setbacks and all of that fun stuff. But you know, the last couple of years, it was doing good and it was steady at bra strap length, but I really wanted to get it past there. So my plan actually was to do something drastic, and by drastic I just mean change my routine somehow to kind of gain 2 more inches. I wanted to get it to 15 inches. So I was thinking, well, I'll just do the Microlocs after I get it to the 15 inches. But then in my heart, I was like, no, I can't wait. I just need to do it now. I got to do it now. So I didn't think it would take so well to the Microlocs. It's doing much better than I thought it would, but I just had a feeling that this is it. Like, I have to do this. This is for me. Oh, okay. Yes. So, Sister Francis, I think you're talking about taking them out if you don't want them anymore. Now, now that is something that I think about, because taking out traditional locks is much easier than taking out Microlocs. So taking out Microlocs is going to be a challenge if I decide to ever have to take them out. That's going to be a challenge because they're so small. So traditional locks are easier to take out. But they do say that interlocks are the easiest to take out. So the fact that I'm interlocking it, hopefully, maybe that will help me a little bit. But I think taking out traditional locks is easier than taking out the smaller ones. Thank you, Nay, for being in my amen corner, girl. Right, all right, so Esther's saying she doesn't know she can commit to it like that yet. And honestly, like I was saying last night, I think a lot of people look at locks as being so permanent, and they're not. There are so many people who have both traditional locks and micro locks and take them out. And if that's what you want to do, go ahead and do it. I think, yes, give it good thought, but I think that some people overthink it more than they need to, because it is not permanent. It is not like the moment you put it in, your hair is locked and you can never get it unlocked. No, you can actually comb it out. It's going to take patience. Again, which Esther, you said, you don't know if you got all the time for the maintenance. It's going to take patience to get them out, but you can take them out. You absolutely can. And then something I noticed too is a lot of people in the natural hair community, and I think somebody mentioned this on my last video, we often do like 2-strand twists for like months and then take them out. So if you're somebody like that, then you might want to consider locks, because you're really doing, it's like you're locking your hair anyway. The only reason why I would say if somebody does like 2-strand twists for a long period of time and they don't want to lock their hair, the only reason why I wouldn't if I was them is if you like other styles. Like you cannot let go of other styles, such as like maybe a blow dry style, or maybe having your hair straightened. Those type of things, maybe locks is not for you. But if you're somebody that keeps your hair up or keeps it in 2-strand twists all the time, I don't know, locks might be for you, because you can cut out the detangling time that you have to do them. And the other good thing about locks is you kind of, like your natural hair, you kind of make your own regimen. You make your own schedule when you want to do things, of how you want to do things. With micro locks, you kind of have to stay on top of your reties. But with traditional locks, you have even more freedom, because maybe you don't want to do a retwist this time around. Maybe you want to wait it out. Maybe you want to change the interlocks. So you do have a lot more freedom with it than I think people actually realize they have. Yes, so yes, Sister Francis, absolutely. It's not easy to take them out, but it can be done. And the earlier you do it, so say you like get locks for a few months or even for a year, for some people, you can take it out. You can still take it out. It's not going to be hard. Now, if you had it in for years, then it's harder because it had more time to lock on itself. But if you've only had it in for like a few months or a year, it's easier for you to take it out. Again, you're just going to have to be patient, because you want to kind of condition your hair and let it sit for a little bit before you start combing into it. And of course, Esther, moisturizing is good for everybody. But I can say that with locks, you don't have to worry about it as much. So you can do some things with locks that you can get away, rather, with some things with the locks that you can't get away with if you're a loose natural. And that is one of the reasons why I locked my hair, because I knew that I could not get away with always rushing to do my hair and trying to detangle it while I'm rushing. That was just not good for somebody whose hair is extremely curly. But with locks, it cut down that time of having to rush. Even if I'm doing a retie, and if I don't finish, then I could just pick it up the next day. Versus when you get your hair done and you're natural, and if you don't finish detangling and you try to go to sleep like that, that's not going to be a cute thing. Like, you need to make sure you get it all detangled. Or those days where you do your hair and you think you're about to have a really bomb twist out, and then you wake up in the morning to go somewhere and your hair is still wet. That is the worst. But those things happen. So there's pros and cons to being a loose natural, and there's pros and cons to being locked. But I think a lot of people focus on the cons of being locked, and some of those cons are not even true. Some of those cons are not even true. Right, Shima, because you like keeping your hair in twists. So that transition for you is like nothing, because a lot of us did do that. Now, I didn't do that. I didn't keep my hair in twists because I didn't do it because it would tangle. because taking it out would not be worth it to me. Like taking out small twists was not worth it to me. And again, a lot of people do that. A lot of people put small twists in. A lot of people put small twists in as a hairstyle. That is not something you want to do all the time, because when you go to take them down, you lose some hair taking them down because they're so small, and especially if your hair is super curly. So for me, having 2-strand twists in, I didn't really care for that much. I didn't really do that much. I would prefer it to be full looking, which means it had to keep a lot of its curl. And that detangling after having twist in was no joke for me. Like, it did not matter how long I had them in. It was not a good thing to go back and try to detangle it afterwards. Thank you, mommy, for being happy for me for my journey. And I do think that it fits me. I think my hair really is like enjoying this whole thing. But yes, see, you ladies understand that struggle about that wet hair in the morning. That is not funny. After you spend all night, you're like, I'm doing it, I'm gonna look good. And the truth is, sometimes it's not even like your fault. It's not something you can even judge is gonna happen. It just happens. And you're like, why? Why did you play me like that? Now I got 2 choices. Now I gotta wear my hair a little puffy because it didn't dry, or I gotta put it up after you worked hard all night. That is not fun. That is not fun at all. Exactly, Esther. Yep, I was not good with having to take out my twists. And for me, when I was natural, I had to detangle my hair while the water is running, because that was the only way to keep hair on my head. Like, I couldn't use a comb. I had to use my fingers, which I'm fine with that because I was pretty good with that. But I had to do it while water was running on it. So imagine taking out your 2-strand twist, and now you got to be in the shower detangling all these little twists that you put in because they started to mesh together. And you be in the shower until the water starts running cold, and then you're like, this is for the birds. And that's why I was not doing that. I couldn't do that. But some people, they could do that and not have such a hard time with detangling. But for me, it wasn't worth it. It was not worth that detangling. I would tell myself every time, never again. I'm never doing it again. But yes, it's so nice to see all of you lovely ladies on. I appreciate the support. Let me make sure I didn't skip anybody's comments. But yeah, I think honestly, I'm going to try to put together all the things that I've heard about locks that are like negative, and try to let you know what is the truth about them, because I think that deters some people from getting locks. But I think the biggest thing to know is that it is not permanent. It was considered a permanent thing back in the day, but now we have come so far with like natural hair and learning about it and learning how to do it, that we know now that no, you can take them out. It's definitely not permanent. And then like someone asked yesterday or 2 days ago actually about locking children's hair. They're young, so they lock their hair when they're young, and they become a teenager and they're like, Mom, I just want to have loose hair like everybody else. Comb them out. And then they get in their 20s and 30s and they're like, I'm ready to lock my hair again. Lock your hair again. Like, you have time to kind of go back and forth. So don't think that if you lock your hair, you're stuck in it. And don't think that if you lock your hair, you lose a lot of hair, because if you take the time to take it out, you're not going to lose as much either. There are still plenty of people who take out their locks even after having it for years and still have plenty of hair on their head. So it's all in your technique of how it is that you're taking it out. But yep, Shades the Sage, hoping to get to that video because it's important. It is so important, because locks and doing it yourself is new. It is new for a lot of people. So I think a lot of people just have the old mindset about them. All right. Well, thank you all for joining. I'm glad that you joined. I felt so bad about getting on here late, but I was doing so much stuff. I just cannot. So, but it seemed like, maybe more people was free at this time. So maybe that was a good thing. But yes, if you have any more questions about locks, make sure you leave them in the comment section. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up before you go. But leave those questions in the comments, especially if it's something negative or a negative story. Go ahead and leave it down below. And then hopefully when I do my misconceptions video, I can try to answer some of those questions that we have, or those negative connotations that just floats around all about locks. Hey Dad, thank you for joining. Yes, go ahead and watch the last one. And yes, just celebrate. And I can't believe it's a year already. Doesn't feel like it. I'm looking forward to, God willing, the 2-year mark, because then I think the locks will really change. Like for now, at the roots, you can see how it is interlocked, most of it. So like up to here is interlocked now, and then the rest is the 2-strand twist or the loose hair. But I think that once I get to like a 1.5 year mark or 2 marks, then it should really start looking like locks and kind of be set in. So that's exciting. That should be an exciting day. But yes, thank you all for joining. Please leave any questions, any comments down below. I hope to see you all in the next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your support. And until next time, adios.